Welcome to Dreamtale Sleep Stories. Tonight's reading is The Unlucky Ninja. Settle into your bed or sofa and let your shoulders, jaw, and eyelids grow heavy. Inhale slowly, 1, 2, 3, and sigh the air away, allowing the day to fade into quiet dark. With every soft inhale, you invite fresh English phrases. With every gentle exhale, stray thoughts drift farther off. Behind my voice flows a gentle 528 Hz melody, renowned for guiding the mind toward deep relaxation. Keep your eyes closed or follow the captions, whichever feels right. Simply receive the rhythm and resonance of the language. Deep in rest, tonight's phrases will take root like seeds, ready to bloom into stronger English skills with the morning light. When you feel settled, hold that unhurried breath and allow yourself to drift into the tale. The Unlucky Ninja begins now. And when the story's final line has faded, the music will linger a little longer, carrying you gently deeper into sleep. The Unlucky Ninja. Kagemaru was the most unlucky ninja student in the entire village of Konoha. While other students could jump from tree to tree like birds, Kagemaru always fell into the bushes below. While others could throw ninja stars with perfect accuracy, his stars usually ended up stuck in walls, or worse, in his teacher's hat. Kagemaru, called Master Yamamoto, the head of the ninja school, "Come here immediately." Kagemaru tried to run quickly to his teacher, but he tripped over his own feet and rolled across the training ground like a ball. When he finally stopped rolling, he was covered in dirt and leaves. "Yes, Master Yamamoto," Kagemaru said, trying to brush the dirt off his black ninja outfit. Master Yamamoto shook his head sadly. "Kagemaru, you have been training here for 3 years. In that time, you have broken more windows than any student in the history of our school. You have fallen into every pond, river, and well in the village. Yesterday, you got lost in our own training ground for 6 hours. "I was practicing my hiding skills," Kagemaru said, hopefully. "You were hiding under a bridge that everyone could see through," Master Yamamoto replied. "A group of children found you and started throwing stones at you because they thought you were a strange animal." Kagemaru's face turned red with embarrassment. It was true that his ninja training was not going well. He had started training when he was 13 years old, and now he was 16. Most students became real ninjas after 2 years of training, but Kagemaru was still learning the basic skills. However, Master Yamamoto continued, "I have decided to give you one last chance. There is a simple mission that needs to be completed in Edo. If you can finish this mission successfully, you will become a real ninja. If you fail, you will have to leave the school and find a different job." Kagemaru's eyes grew wide with excitement and fear. "What kind of mission, Master?" "A rich merchant named Tanaka-san has lost his pet cat. The cat is very important to him because it belonged to his late wife. The cat has been missing for a week, and Tanaka-san is offering a large reward for its return. Your mission is to find this cat and bring it back safely. Just find a cat? Kagemaru asked. That sounds easy. Master Yamamoto smiled mysteriously. Nothing is ever as easy as it seems, young Kagemaru. The cat was last seen near the fish market in Edo, but many people have already searched for it without success. You must use your ninja skills to find what others cannot. The next morning, Kagemaru packed his few belongings into a small bag. His ninja outfit was patched in several places from his many accidents, and his ninja stars were bent from hitting too many walls. His rope was frayed from the time he tried to climb down from a roof and ended up hanging upside down for 3 hours until someone rescued him. Good luck, Kagemaru, said his fellow student Yuki as he prepared to leave. Try not to fall into any rivers on your way to Edo. And try not to get lost, added another student named Hiro. Remember, Edo is to the south, not the north. Kagemaru nodded seriously and began walking toward the village gate. Unfortunately, he immediately turned north instead of south and walked for 2 hours before realizing his mistake. When he finally turned around and headed in the correct direction, it was already noon. The journey to Edo usually took 1 day for a skilled ninja, but it took Kagemaru 3 days. On the first day, he got lost in a forest and spent the night sleeping under a tree. On the second day, he fell into a river while trying to cross it and had to dry his clothes for hours. On the third day, he accidentally followed a group of traveling merchants who were going to a different city entirely. When Kagemaru finally arrived in Edo, he was tired, hungry, and covered in mud. The city was much larger and busier than his small village. There were hundreds of people walking through the streets, selling goods and talking loudly. The smell of food from restaurants and street vendors made his stomach growl with hunger. Kagemaru found the fish market where the cat had last been seen. It was a busy place with many vendors selling fresh fish from the morning catch. The ground was wet and slippery, and the smell of fish was very strong. "Excuse me," Kagemaru said to a fish vendor. "I am looking for a lost cat. Have you seen any cats around here recently?" The fish vendor laughed. "Cats? There are cats everywhere around here. They come to steal fish from my stall every day." "What does this cat look like?" Kagemaru realized he had forgotten to ask Master Yamamoto what the cat looked like. This was his first mistake, but certainly not his last. It's a cat," Kagemaru said, helpfully. "A regular cat." The fish vendor shook his head and went back to selling fish. Kagemaru spent the rest of the day asking people about cats, but everyone gave him the same answer. There were many cats in the fish market area, and without a better description, it would be impossible to find one specific cat. As the sun began to set, Kagemaru found a small inn where he could spend the night. The innkeeper was a kind old woman named Mrs. Sato, who felt sorry for the young, muddy ninja. "You look like you've had a difficult day," she said as she served him a bowl of rice and vegetables. "What brings you to Edo?" Kagemaru explained his mission to find the lost cat. Mrs. Sato listened carefully and nodded. "Ah, "You must be looking for Tanaka-san's cat, Shiro," she said. "He has been asking everyone in the neighborhood to help find her. She is a white cat with blue eyes and a pink collar with a small bell." "Finally," Kagamaru said with relief. "Now I know what I'm looking for. Do you have any idea where she might be?" "Well," Mrs. Sato said thoughtfully, "cats usually don't go far from places where they can find food and shelter. If I were a cat, I would look for somewhere warm and safe, with easy access to food." That night, Kagamaru lay in his small room at the inn and thought about Mrs. Sato's advice. Where would a cat go in a big city like Edo? He decided to start his search early the next morning in the areas around the fish market. The next day, Kagamaru began his search systematically. He looked under bridges, behind restaurants, in empty buildings, and anywhere else a cat might hide. Unfortunately, his ninja skills did not help him very much. When he tried to climb onto a roof to get a better view, he slipped and fell into a cart full of vegetables. When he tried to move quietly through an alley, he knocked over a pile of wooden boxes that made a loud crashing sound. By noon, Kagamaru had found 7 different cats, but none of them was Shiro. He had also managed to fall into a fountain, get chased by an angry dog, and accidentally walk into the women's section of a public bathhouse. "This is hopeless," Kagamaru said to himself as he sat on a bench near the fish market. "I'm the worst ninja in the world. I can't even find one cat in a city." Just then, he heard a small sound, but tiny bell ringing somewhere nearby. Kagamaru looked around quickly. The sound seemed to be coming from above him. Looking up, he saw a white cat sitting on the roof of a building across the street. The cat had blue eyes and was wearing a pink collar with a small bell. It was Shiro. "I found her," Kagamaru said excitedly, jumping up from the bench. But his excitement was short-lived. The building was 3 stories tall and had smooth walls, with no easy way to climb up. Kagamaru tried throwing his rope up to the roof, but it fell back down every time. He tried to climb the wall, but he kept slipping and falling. As he was trying to figure out how to reach the cat, a group of other ninjas appeared. They were dressed in clean, well-fitted black outfits and moved with grace and skill. Kagamaru recognized them as graduates from his own ninja school who had become professional ninjas. "Well, well, if it isn't Kagamaru," said the leader of the group, a ninja named Takeshi. "What are you doing here in Edo? Did your master finally give up on teaching you?" "I'm on a mission," Kagamaru said proudly. "I'm going to find Tanaka-san's lost cat and become a real ninja." The other ninjas laughed. "You? Find a cat? We've been hired by Tanaka-san to find that cat too, and we've been looking for 3 days. If we can't find it, what makes you think you can?" Kagamaru pointed up to the roof. "Because I already found her. She's right there." The ninjas looked up and saw Shiro sitting on the roof. Takeshi smiled confidently. "Well, that was easy. Now all we have to do is get her down." He threw his rope up to the roof with perfect accuracy. The rope caught on a wooden beam, and Takeshi began climbing up quickly and smoothly. But as soon as Takeshi appeared on the roof, Shiro became frightened and ran away. She jumped from that roof to another roof, and then to another. The ninjas tried to follow her, but every time they got close, she would run to a different building. "This cat is too smart," Takeshi said after an hour of chasing. "Every time we get near her, she runs away. We need a different strategy." Kagamaru watched the other ninjas trying to catch Shiro and had an idea. Maybe his lack of ninja skills could actually be helpful in this situation. "Let me try," Kagamaru said. "You?" Takeshi laughed. "You can't even climb a wall properly. How are you going to catch a cat on a roof?" "Just give me a chance," Kagamaru said. "What do you have to lose?" The other ninjas agreed to let Kagamaru try, mostly because they wanted to watch him fail in an entertaining way. Kagamaru walked to the building where Shiro was currently sitting. Instead of trying to climb up to her, he sat down on the ground below and took out his lunch, a rice ball with fish inside that Mrs. Sato had given him. "Here, kitty," he called softly. "Are you hungry?" Shiro looked down at him with interest. She had been running from the other ninjas for so long that she was tired and hungry. Kagamaru broke off a small piece of the fish and placed it on the ground. Then he sat very still and waited. After a few minutes, Shiro climbed down from the roof to investigate the food. She was still nervous, but she was also very hungry. "Good cat," Kagamaru said gently. "Are you lost? Do you want to go home?" Instead of trying to grab Shiro quickly, like the other ninjas had done, Kagamaru let her come to him slowly. He gave her small pieces of fish and spoke to her in a calm, quiet voice. The other ninjas watched in amazement as Shiro gradually became more comfortable with Kagamaru. After about 20 minutes, she was sitting next to him and purring as he petted her soft, white fur. "I think she's ready to come with me now," Kagamaru said. He carefully picked up Shiro, and she didn't try to run away. "How did you do that?" Takeshi asked in surprise. "We've been chasing her for hours, and she wouldn't let any of us get close to her." "I think she was scared," Kagamaru explained. "When you chase a frightened animal, it just makes them more frightened. But if you're patient and gentle, they will come to you when they're ready." The other ninjas looked at each other with respect. They had always thought that being a ninja meant being fast, strong, and skillful. But Kagamaru had shown them that sometimes being patient and understanding was more important than physical abilities. Kagamaru carried Shiro through the streets of Edo to Tanaka-san's house. It was a large, beautiful house with a garden full of flowers and trees. When Tanaka-san saw his beloved cat, tears of joy filled his eyes. "Shiro!" he cried, taking the cat from Kagamaru's arms. "I thought I would never see you again." Shiro purred loudly and rubbed her head against Tanaka-san's face. It was clear that she was very happy to be home. "Young man," Tanaka-san said to Kagamaru, "you have made an old man very happy today. My wife gave me this cat just before she died, and Shiro is my last connection to her. How can I ever thank you?" "I was just doing my job," Kagamaru said modestly. Tanaka-san gave Kagamaru a bag of gold coins as a reward and invited him to stay for dinner. That evening, Kagamaru enjoyed the best meal he had ever eaten and listened to Tanaka-san tell stories about his late wife and their many adventures together. When Kagamaru returned to his ninja village the next day, Master Yamamoto was waiting for him at the school gate. "So, Kagamaru," Master Yamamoto said with a serious expression, "did you complete your mission?" "Yes, Master," Kagamaru said, bowing respectfully. "I found Tanaka-san's cat and returned her safely." Master Yamamoto nodded approvingly. "I received a message from Tanaka-san this morning. He was very impressed with your work. He said you showed great patience, kindness, and wisdom." "But Master," Kagamaru said, "I didn't use any of the ninja skills you taught me. I couldn't climb walls or throw ninja stars or move silently. I just sat on the ground and waited." Master Yamamoto smiled. "Kagemaru, being a ninja is not just about physical skills. A true ninja must be intelligent, patient, and able to understand others, including animals. You succeeded where other ninjas failed because you understood what the cat needed." "Does this mean?" Kagemaru asked hopefully. "Yes," Master Yamamoto said. "You are now a real ninja. But remember, your training is not finished. You still need to practice your climbing and your star throwing. However, you have learned the most important lesson of all. Sometimes the best way to solve a problem is not with force or skill, but with patience and kindness." From that day forward, Kagemaru became known as the most unusual ninja in the village. He still fell down occasionally and got lost sometimes, but he had found his own special way of being a ninja. Other ninjas began to ask for his advice when they had difficult missions involving people or animals. Kagemaru learned that being different was not always a disadvantage. His clumsiness had taught him to be humble, and his failures had taught him to be patient. These qualities made him a better ninja than all his physical skills ever could. Years later, when Kagemaru became a teacher at the ninja school, he always told his students the same thing. The most important ninja skill is not in your hands or your feet. It's in your heart. And whenever a student felt discouraged about their training, Kagemaru would tell them the story of how the unluckiest ninja student in the village became a real ninja by learning to be patient with a frightened cat.
you